everybody. Welcome to the very first podcast of Maximum Freedom with Mike, coming to you from my basement studio, aka the Dungeon. How's everybody doing today on this fine, beautiful Wednesday morning? Hopefully you're doing good. I know I am. So this is the first episode of my new podcast called Maximum Freedom. Now, the reason why I am doing this podcast, the purpose of the show, so to speak, is because I have recently been made a convert to libertarianism. I've always deemed myself to be a conservative for at least the last decade. But after struggling with some issues and thinking through the conservative worldview, I just had to accept that some things didn't line up with what I was, between my beliefs and what was happening in the world around me. And, I really analyzed some things that I believed and studied how libertarians believe, what they believe, and I found that my conservative beliefs weren't being carried all the way through to their logical conclusion. So, after realizing that basically to be a conservative means you do support some government intervention in the private lives of citizens, I was just kind of like, nah, you know what, this isn't probably going to work for me. And I fought against it for a while, but eventually Ron Paul won me over with some of his books. So I became a libertarian, and I've decided that I want to document my journey to being a libertarian and sharing that journey with the world and with others, and hopefully educate others on what libertarianism is, and maybe see some other people jump on the bandwagon with me. That would be awesome. My name is Mike. As I stated earlier, I'll be the host of this little program. I would like to eventually include an additional host to interact with and dialogue with, but for now, you're just stuck with me, so get over it. I am a 30-year-old man who is a husband, a father of 2 awesome little ones, and I am a freelance writer / comic book creator / small business owner. I am actually in the process of creating a publishing company, and this publishing company and this side business, coupled with my freelance work, is what I do for a living, but it ties in directly to why I've become a libertarian, and I'll get to that some later. So first, I just wanted to kind of give you some info on me. I have another radio show called Sanctified Rebellion Radio that I do from time to time. I'm probably going to be dropping that to once every couple of weeks because I would rather focus my time and energy on this particular topic, because there is so much going on in our country today, and we have gotten so far away from what we were, that I feel it's important for me to voice my opinion and to try to connect with a different demographic that maybe other libertarians, conservatives aren't necessarily reaching. And, I'm a young guy. I'm 30 years old. Well, I'm kind of young. I mean, I'm into tattoos. I'm from a different generation than a lot of the guys who are out there talking today. And I think it's important for young people to see that, hey, being a libertarian, being someone who's, pro-freedom, does not necessarily mean that you have to be some old fuddy-duddy white dude who wears a suit every day. You could just be the average Joe. So that's kind of what I want to accomplish with this. I am also on Twitter. You can follow me at srebel1983. That's my Twitter handle. I'd be glad to follow you back if you follow me. And I also have a YouTube channel that if you search in YouTube for Sanctified Rebellion, those 2 words are put together in one word, you will find my channel. I post up daily vlogs about my life and about different things that I want to talk about that are kind of on my heart and whatnot. So make sure to go there, check out the videos, like, subscribe, and just keep coming back. I am a Christian, but I will not be talking a whole lot about faith on here at all. I mean, it may be a rare thing that I do. I mostly want to focus on freedom, both economically and socially, from our very bloated government. So that's going to be the primary focus. And I'm also going to talk about news stories from the day, stuff that's going on, things that I feel like people need to be aware of, and things that just in general just tick me off a little bit that I feel like spouting off on. So that's pretty much how the show's going to go. Hope you guys, stay interested and stay intrigued by what I do here, and keep on listening. Okay, I want to jump right into stuff today. And basically, this first episode, I wanted to share with you my story. I am kind of in a mess right now, financially speaking. And I got in this mess because of some very bad choices I made 7 years ago. And these choices that I made were very stupid and immature. And those choices were due to the fact that I did not understand the basic concepts of economics and how that stuff works. So while I don't think that being an expert in economics necessarily will make you rich, ignoring basic economic principles will definitely keep you poor. And I am living proof of it. 7 years ago, I met my wife, Amanda, and we got married within a month of meeting each other. Now, the problem there was that I was still living at home and working a full-time job. Oh, see, that's what happens when you don't put your phone on silent. You know how many times I've done that in recording podcasts? It's ridiculous. And all that screaming you heard, that was my kids upstairs. Please, have mercy on my wife. Anyway, 7 years ago, met my wife, living at home, working a full-time job, trying to help my dad pay some bills and stuff, Didn't really see the need to move out, seeing as how, my dad needed some help, and, I didn't have a car or a driver's license, so it would have been pointless to move out. And this was, I'd been out of high school for 5 years already at this point or something like that, and was just staying at home to help out, Well, after I met my wife, I kind of started thinking, this job is not paying the bills. I was barely making $9 an hour, which equals out after taxes to about $240 a week, which was not sufficient. So I thought, hey, maybe what I could do is start a business. I'm really good at writing. I wonder if you can make money off that. Lo and behold, I found out that you can make money online being a freelance writer. And I said, hey, I know I've got the skills for this. So I wrote up some pieces, had them critiqued, and kind of found my voice and my style. And so then I got on to sites like elance.com and started marketing myself and bidding on jobs, and I landed some pretty good paying contracts. I was doubling the money that I made from my other job. Unfortunately, I was a moron and blew those contracts because of the way I behaved personally with the client. I did not behave in a professional manner. I had no idea what I was doing. I had no previous business experience. I was really just a moron, plain and simple. I lost those clients, and every day after that, I continued down this path to try to do this writing thing. I never did it correctly, and I just kept making mistakes over and over again, and I was lazy. Oh, I was lazy. I was pathetically lazy. I'll admit it. I had little work ethic. It's embarrassing looking at it now. Well, we ended up having to go on government help. Food stamps, that kind of thing. And it was just a horrible experience. And it's been a horrible experience. I've been on them for a while. There was a good stretch of time that I was on that kind of help, and it was just horrible. You feel like a slave. You just feel dehumanized. It was just horrible. And things just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And the debt kept piling up. It got so bad that in order to pay bills, I was actually taking out payday loans, and then I would take out a payday loan to pay the payday loan, and then take out another payday loan to pay the bills, and just repeat the process over to the point that I've gotten so far in debt I can't afford to pay off any more of the loans, and I'm in default for who knows how much. So this is what happens when you ignore basic economic principles and when you have no knowledge of basic economic principles, okay? So you guys get educated. I'm huge into self-education. You don't have to go to college and spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to get an education, folks. Get educated. Save yourself the misery that I have went through. And don't be lazy. Work hard. We'll get into those topics in another episode more in depth. So I just want to continue telling the story. Well, I decided at some point that, hey, I need to start a business with a product that can, be sold over and over again so that I can focus on marketing stuff instead of always having to, spend time marketing and then, providing this service to people, because it takes up a lot of time to provide my writing services and then go out and market myself and just repeat that over again. So I'm in this constant cycle of never having enough time to actually work, and it's just eating into the finances even worse. Well, a couple of weeks ago, that brings you up to where I'm at right now. That's just a really condensed version. It was absolute hell on my wife and myself, and I'm surprised that we made it through where we're at right now. About a month or two ago, I had fallen way behind on rent, and I needed to pay the rent, and it was coming due. And I went to somebody for help, and this person told me, no, I'm not going to give you any help. You're an able-bodied man. You should be able to take care of your family yourself. I don't know. It was just really rude to me. Like, I know what they were saying is true, but the way they said it was rude, and it took me a while to forgive this person for that. But what they said to me was invaluable. Said, I'm not going to help you because you're an able-bodied man who should be taking care of his family. And you've jumped from job to job, and you've tried to do all this stuff, and you're highly skilled, but you just have never applied yourself. So I'm not going to help you. The worst that can happen is you lose your home, and that pressure that you're going to experience from this situation will end up making you a better man. Well, I wanted to just punch this dude right in his mouth. I mean, I wanted to tear this dude up. I'm talking like go UFC on this brother. I was so pissed. We got into a really heated argument after that. Well, I decided to go ahead and confront my landlord and say, hey, I don't have it. Can you give me a week or two? Then I'll make sure I have it. She agreed, and I ended up getting the rent paid on time. And then I've already paid, this month, and I'm actually ahead up through April now. Yay! And the reason I'm ahead is because what that man said to me pissed me off so bad. And it pissed me off because it was absolutely true. Ben Franklin has this comment about, letting the best way to help those in poverty is letting them feel the pressure and the pain of their poverty, to make them uncomfortable in their poverty. And that the more that a person does for themselves, the better off they'll be. And it's absolutely true. Man, I got so motivated that I started taking on clients, and that I developed a business plan for the business I want to launch, and I got educated, and I've learned how to do all this marketing stuff, and I'm already beginning the stages of creating my product that I'm going to sell, and it's just been awesome. My work ethic has improved 100-fold. I'm starting to make enough money to pay the bills and take care of business on my own, and that is worth just gold to me. It's just amazing. I'm loving how that feels. But I never would have got there had I not been made uncomfortable in poverty. And now I'm applying economic principles that I'm learning through the study of economics that are going to help me make better business decisions and help me develop a marketing plan that will, no doubt, make me successful. I believe 100% that applying these principles is going to make me successful. The level of success is dependent upon how hard I'm willing to work. And right now, let me tell you, experiencing the shame and the pressure and the weight and the awfulness of what I went through a few months ago is definitely sufficient motivation to work as hard as I possibly can to get this business off the ground. Meanwhile, I'm working full-time as a freelancer still. So I'm doing well, I'm not doing fantastic. I'm not making thousands of dollars a month, but I'm making enough money to pay all the bills. You can't ask for more than that, right? Especially when you're in my position and you're just trying to get back on your feet. So, what happened was, the reason why I got to this point to learn economics and apply these things was through a book. I was curious, because my family homeschools our children. I was curious about what Ron Paul had to say about homeschooling, because I know that he is a big proponent of it. So I checked out his book, School Revolution, from the local library, and this book has absolutely changed my life. And it's hilarious, because there's two sentences that stuck out to me from what I read. And I've heard these two statements and philosophies repeated through the Bible, through church, through people that I know personally, but it never sunk in until I read it this way. If you truly want more freedom, then you absolutely have to have people who are willing to take more personal responsibility for their actions. If you want to have a free society, then everyone needs to be responsible for themselves and their own families. I am responsible for clothing my family, for providing food for my family, for providing shelter for my family. This is not the role of government. God has ordained me in these roles. Okay? And just society in general falls apart if a man and a woman and a family isn't providing for themselves. If they're dependent on the government or on others, it strains things. And there needs to then be more legislation to correct problems. And then that just continues to grow. And freedom and liberty disappear. It all comes down to personal responsibility. And this struck me so hard because I have failed so badly, so miserably at this personal responsibility throughout these past 7 years. And I said, I don't want to be that way anymore. I want to take responsibility for my family. So that's something that started to get me to think about what I believed politically. And as I've read more of this book and more of his philosophies, I also checked out an ebook called Liberty Defined, which is basically a primer on what Ron Paul as a libertarian believes, as well as what most constitutionalists believe. If you hear that weird noise in the background, that is the shower in the upstairs bathroom. So nobody freak out. It's not static, I assure you. I don't know if you can hear it or not. Hopefully you can't. That's what happens when you do your podcast from your basement in your house. But, hey, I want to eventually make money on this too. I'm a capitalist. I'm not ashamed to say it. I want to make money off everything I do. Why not? If you're good at something, why do it for free? The Joker said that. A little Batman humor there. Anywho. Liberty Defined kind of helped me see some errors in what I thought about the role of government in society. And I realized all this time, I've not really been a conservative. I've been a libertarian. I just haven't been putting the principles into practice. Because these are things that I believed. I've always felt ashamed of having to take government help. But I just didn't. I was stupid and didn't understand how to fix the problem. And I didn't want to believe that I was the problem. And trust me, I was the problem. So now that I have come full circle here and that, I'm standing on my own 2 feet and things are going, decently, I look at these things and I say, this is exactly where I fall in the political spectrum is libertarianism. So I'm still fresh to all these, beliefs. I have no idea, about most of the the topics. I'm learning one step at a time. And as part of my learning process, I'm actually studying economics right now. I went to Ludwig von Mises, I'm not sure how you say his name, Institute on the internet, and they have tons of free ebooks and resources. And I happened to find a economics textbook that covers things from a libertarian perspective that's designed for high school kids, which means it's simple enough for an idiot like me to understand it. So I've been studying through that, doing the homework assignments, doing the study questions, and I'm telling you, I am learning so much, and it is helping me clarify what I need to do for my business and how I need to handle my own personal finances. So let me tell you, free market principles are not just for, the study of economics or just for the economy at large or businesses. It's for personal economics as well. Because economics is simply the study of exchanges. That's it. I exchange money for a product that someone else has that helps me attain a goal. That's economics. It's simple. So, I'm learning in depth how free markets work and, about Keynesian economics and Austrian economics and all this cool stuff that I'm eventually going to talk about in future episodes. And it's just been life-changing. And I want to share this journey with you. So that's my point in doing all of this, is that I want others to see where I've come from and to see what I believe and how applying these principles to your life, personally and professionally, can help you attain success as long as you are willing to work. Now, I am getting up early in the morning and I'm working 12-hour days sometimes. And I've started giving up one Saturday a month to work as well. And, that is a big deal for me. That's a huge step in the right direction. And I know that as long as I keep a solid work ethic, that things are going to continue to go well. And I will be successful. I just have to keep grinding it out. So I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of background, let you know my story, let you know why I'm doing this, why this is important to me. And hopefully you will join me in this crazy walk toward libertarianism, toward freedom, toward maximum freedom. And that is why I titled this podcast Maximum Freedom with Mike. So, yeah, that's where I'm at there. All right, guys, I am actually going to take a quick break here, and then we will transition to the next segment of the show.